Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ntwaniengomane. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Over the last week and last week's video, I asked you guys what format you would prefer for our videos, whether you'd want one topic a month or whether you would want a rotation on a weekly basis, and majority of you voted for a rotation on a weekly basis, and that is what I have decided the format of the videos for the current year is gonna be. We're gonna rotate on a weekly basis, right? Over the past week, there has been a release of matric results in South Africa for the class of 2022. Congratulations to everybody who has sat for the exams and has come out victorious. And yeah, man, I guess the release of the results made me reflect on my journey since high school. It has been 10 years since I left high school. Yes, that's right. I left matric in 2013. It is now 2023. That marks 10 years this year. I know, guys, it seems like a very long time, and it really is, and I've learned some really good lessons that I want to share with you in this video today. Yeah, over the past week I have just been reflecting on my journey. With the release of the results, I have a few people I know who are in matric, a few families who were expecting great results from their kids, and it just sort of made me remember where I came from. Having matriculated in 2013 in Limpopo in South Africa, and now 10 years later, a qualified chartered accountant living and working in the UK. That has been a very rewarding journey for me. So what have I learned in the last 10 years, right? The first thing that I've learned is that no matter what you do, if you have discipline, you will get far. And why do I say this? The first thing is that over the last 10 years, I have had to exercise discipline in many areas of my life, but I will share with you guys two areas. Number one, I had to earn trust from my parents, and earning my parents' trust needed me to have a discipline in the things that I was doing. Let me explain, right? So I matriculated during a time where going to university, especially for girls or young girls like me at the time, was a little bit frowned upon. I'm not saying it was not supported, but I'm just saying it was a bit unusual, because at the time girls will go to university and they will come back pregnant, they would be on drugs, they will be on alcohol, they wouldn't come home with the results that they had initially gone to university for, right? And I went to uni also around the same time when my parents were a little bit scared, like, oh my god, will you be able to take care of yourself? What if you come back pregnant? Obviously they were not expressing these things to me, but I know they did have the fears that she could go to uni and come back pregnant because of the stigma around going to university, especially for girls. So I needed to earn my parents' trust around that, to say, listen, I might be young, but I truly understand why I'm going to university, and I'm going to go there and be disciplined in the thing that I came there to do, right? And so I had to go to university, and despite having a great time in university, making new friends, going out to see sports and socializing with people, I truly understood why. I understood the reason why I was at university, and I feel like that kept me so grounded. It kept me in line and in check with what I went to university for. So what I want to say when it comes to discipline is that discipline comes with understanding why you are doing what you are doing. If your why is not strong enough to keep you in that thing, you will not be disciplined in it, right? And the second time, or the second instance where I had to exercise so much discipline was when I lost my bursary. If you've been following my story, you know that I lost my bursary at some time during my studying in university, because I had not passed to the level that was sufficient to sustain the bursary. But then when I lost that bursary, I needed to sit down and I needed to get back to grinding, and I needed to get back to the level that I needed to be at to get my bursary reinstated. And so I had to exercise what? Discipline again, to say, okay, my friends are going out to a social at risk, or my friends are going out to a social on campus. Am I gonna go to this social, or am I gonna sit down and actually practice this thing so my marks could go up, so I could eventually get my bursary reinstated? And again, that came with understanding why I needed to be left behind and sit and study, so that, you know, this bursary can come back again and I can fund my studies, because otherwise I was gonna get excluded. Yes, my parents were working, but as we know, the situation with education in South Africa being so expensive, they could not afford to pay for my fees. So that's where I learned that discipline can really get you far, guys. If there's a goal you want to achieve, be disciplined in it. And discipline will look different. Sometimes it will look like consistency. Sometimes it will just be showing up. Sometimes it will just be winning the battle in your mind and just trying to think positively of whatever the situation is. The second lesson that I learned is that failure is part of the process. Guys, you will fail. Okay, that's just how life is designed. In fact, if you are not failing at anything in life, for me, that shows you're not trying anything new. And if you're not trying anything new, you're not getting out of your comfort zone. If you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you are not growing. Okay? So, failure is part of the process. Again, if you've been following my journey, you know I failed in CTA. I failed drastically, not even a 49% fail, guys, a whole 30% fail. I'm not going to mention it because, wow, embarrassing. But I failed, and at that time, it felt like my world was coming down. It felt like the earth could just open up and swallow me. But when I look back at it now, it honestly does not matter. I speak so openly about it now. I'm not even sad about it. It didn't even create a dent in my career. And so I just want to encourage somebody that, you know, failing is part of the process. It also builds your character when you fail, because you start getting to a place where you work on picking yourself up again. And what I found for me through failing so many times is that I have come to appreciate and to see people who have also failed differently. I stopped seeing them as, oh my God, how could you fail that? And started seeing them as, wow, you tried that thing, you gave it a shot, you did what you didn't know, and you learned through it. And that's what it is. Like, it shows you've tried something new. Especially with CTA, doing CTA for the first time, you've never done this thing before. It shows that you've tried this thing for the first time. You've never done it before. And yes, you have not succeeded, but you have gotten out of your comfort zone. You have learned something through it. And that's what failure for me will always be part of the process. And guys, even long after you're studying, long after you've done your degree or your honors or whatever, you will fail in life. You will still fail. Exhibit A lot, I guess, not even a lot, like probably no one knows this, but in 2019, I started a business. I was ready, had a whole company registered, opened bank account, you know, all the admin that goes into having a business as we know it. I did all of that. And you know what? That business failed. It failed drastically. I lost money in the process. And I learned that I gave it my best shot. You know, it was something I've never done before. I know one or two things now about it, but it didn't succeed, and that's okay. And maybe that's not what was meant to succeed in my life at the time. So yeah, failure is part of the process, guys. Embrace it. It will build your character. There's a quote that I'm going to close this point with. It says, success is not fatal. Failure is not final. It is the courage to continue that counts. And if you're willing to go back at it and do it again, do that year again, repeat that metric, start that business again now with a fresh mind, with fresh ideas, with experience, you never know what could happen. The next lesson is that not everything will go according to plan. Guys, if you had asked me 10 years ago where I see my life going or where I will be 10 years later, it would have been nothing to what and how my life is right now. 10 years ago, I had a plan. Okay, I was gonna go to school, I was gonna buy a house, I was gonna buy a car, I was gonna get married and settle down, I was gonna have money, I was gonna travel the world. I had it figured out. And just like everybody else that does have it figured out at some point in their lives, things don't always go according to plan. And I think we need to come to a point where we plan, yes, but we also need to leave room for adventure. 10 years ago, fresh out of matric, I had no idea that I could even relocate to the UK. I had no idea what the CA thing was about. I had no idea what I would actually even be doing as a CA. I knew I wanted to study accounting, but I didn't know how all of this is going to unfold. I didn't know what the journey is going to look like, but I'd already made plans about a house. I didn't even know how much I was going to make. So it's good to have a plan, but not everything will go according to that plan. And that's okay. That's how life is. That's the adventure and that's the journey. And you need to embrace it and don't beat yourself up about the plans that you've had that didn't work out. Trust that everything will work out in the end. And I can tell you, like right now, as I'm shooting this video and I'm sitting in front of you, there are certain things that I also have no idea about, like what's gonna happen with my life next year. Where is my career going? When am I gonna settle down? I mean, the last week I turned 28 and honey, it's not looking so good. But I don't know. I have plans, but I don't know whether they will work or whether they will not. So the lesson here is just keep an open mind, be flexible, allow for adventure in your life. If you're in a course that you don't like and you've made plans and whatever, change it. Be flexible and do things that actually please you. The last and final point is that there's more to life than your current season. Oh my gosh, I wish somebody had told me this a couple of years ago when I was doing my honors degree. There is so much life. There is so much more to life than your current season. This thing is powerful. Let me tell you a story. In articles, in my third year of articles to be precise, I had a very difficult manager that I was working with. And by difficult, I mean catch-ups every morning, catch-ups at the end of every day. He wants to know what you did, for how long, what's still left to do, for how long is that going to take you, when will you finish, when will you address the review points, when will you... It was too much and too toxic, right? And at that point, I felt like, oh my gosh, I just want to die. Like, can the earth just open up and swallow me whole? Like, my life revolved around that audit. My life revolved around that manager. Like, everything I saw in my life was just around that little thing. And I know this happens a lot, especially when we're in difficult situations. When you're studying, especially CTA, it can feel like this year my life just revolves around this thing. But I want to remind you that there's so much more to life than just your current season. And it saddens my heart so much in situations where people take their lives, where your mental health really goes down the drain because of this single situation or season that you're going in your life. And I often think to myself, guys, there's so much more to life than this thing. Look, if CTA is not working out, you have given it your best. You have gone in again and tried, and you have done everything you could. Look, I'm not advocating for quitting, especially if you really want something. If you still have the drive to go in for it and work towards it, please 100% do. But if you're at a point where you're like, I am drained, and you are now looking at, oh, can I end my life? Or this thing is just gonna end my life. I'm gonna be so embarrassed to leave. And the only option you now start to think about is ending your life. remember that there's so much more to life than this thing. You can leave, you can still be an accountant, you can still be great, be successful in something else that is a lot healthier to you. And so yeah, it's important to remember, guys, that there's so much more to life than the little situations that we are in. And being in articles at that time, it wasn't clear. This wasn't clear to me, because all I wanted to do was just get out of that client, leave that audit, not work with that manager, and that's all that mattered at the time. But yeah, you're not stuck, right? You're not stuck. You have options. Exercise your options and do what is best for you. So yeah, those are the lessons that I have learned over the past 10 years. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop down a comment and let me know how long it's been since you've been in high school and what you have learned over that period from high school until now. Is there anything you'll do differently? Is there anything you regret? I hope not, because I regret nothing. I don't think my life would have turned out the way it did had I made different choices. And so I'm grateful for the past 10 years of my life. I wonder what the next 10 years has to offer. Hopefully I will look on this video and also reflect back at that time. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Please like this video. It really does help the algorithm to recommend this video to other people who might find it useful. And please click the red subscribe button if you haven't already. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.